Welcome, everyone, to a little piece of my studio. I'm Catherine Riles, an artist and painter in the Southern Appalachian Mountains, and today I'm going to be going through a quick little interspersed sketchbook flip and also filling my new watercolor palette. So I hope you stick along. Feel free to grab your own watercolors, put this on in the background while you're doing some cleanup or whatever you feel. It's a little bit of a lengthy video, but I am so thankful that you're here. So if you give a chance, like or subscribe or just leave a comment or question. I've got some questions I pose at the end of this video. So I hope you enjoy what I've got to share. First of all, I make wooden watercolor palettes. I started making these because I love using them, and then it's kind of become a little obsession of mine. I've just finished up a set of 12 new palettes that I'll be putting into my website later this week. But first, I am going to fill some of them with watercolors. But today in this video, I'm going to be filling one for myself. This one here is a walnut palette that was one of the first that I made a few years back. It's been several years and I've been using it. It stays nice and functional. I don't have any issues with the quality. So I like to put my palettes through the works just so that I can confidently know that I'm selling you a great product. But I've got a lot of new designs, different sizes. This one has like a really wide circle. Um, so for those of you that like a larger brush and just 12 colors, this is a really perfect palette. It's made out of sycamore. So these are trees and scraps and things from the wood shop. This is another sycamore. It's a really, oh, I love kind of the marbling of the wood on this one and how warm it is. These are so lightweight, easy to travel with. I create pouches and little bags that you can carry them in. Another sycamore, and I love how light and bright that wood tone is. These little tiny four-well walnut palettes, I'm going to be putting in a selection of my favorite four, what do you call it? A limited palette. Four color limited palette is the word that I was looking for. Um, so on my desk right there, you'll see a bookmark from my Phases and Forests Oracle deck. I also have a couple Oracle decks that I've painted and created, and I've been swatching out a ton. Especially this season, I I felt like a change. I've been using the same colors for many, many years, and it just kind of felt like the right time to explore. I got new dot colors, and I've got a video behind in my queue where you can go through some more in depth on how I was choosing colors and picking colors. And even since that video, I've changed a few things up. So I'm going to show you what I've chosen for this palette and a little bit of why. But these palettes, I am not retiring them. I'm still going to be using them. They are still excellent. I'm just going to have a little bit of a difference to choose from here to work with. I paint full time, so these aren't things that are going to waste for me. I feel like it's kind of weird when we have to say stuff like that in the YouTube videos because people will kind of criticize, but I try not to have things go to waste. I love what I use, and these are the tools of my trade. So, okay, let's clean off these swatch cards. And now I am going to show you a little bit of the process. This is a book that I just bound up really quickly with some 100% cotton paper to do color testing and doing lots of mixes and trying to figure out what where am I going next and why? Having a good answer for why. One of the things I did as I was choosing the limited palette of four colors that I was talking about earlier is doing little test paintings and mixtures. And so kind of laying out a few different options that has quinacridone sienna, Indian red. No, I'm just making things up. This one here is the one that I landed on is the quinacridone magenta, Indian yellow, quinacridone sienna, and phthalo blue red shade. I switched it up a little bit. The one on the right has burnt sienna or Pompeii red, which is a little more muted than quinacridone sienna. But as you can see, as I do some mixtures, I lay out the colors and the variable mixes I can get. I really was landing on that one in the center. So I feel like it can still get nice neutral tones, but a lot of really nice bright colors as well. Here I have this sketchbook that I've been using a lot recently. It's still new to me. Oh no, oh no, a little ant. What happened? I'm so sorry. Anyway, this is 100% cotton. It's a hot press book. I've been doing some little studies in it. That's a video I did for my Patreon. And here I actually was using that limited palette. So once I kind of chose the colors, I wanted to do a little test of how do they practice. And it's pretty remarkable when you really put yourself to a limited palette and see how far you can push it. And all of these neutrals and greens. Um, yeah. And then also keeping your palette messy, especially when you're doing a limited palette, is going to kind of have you keep those convenience colors right there in your mixes. So like the greens and the neutrals and the deep purples and browns and things. If you keep your palette a little bit messy over there on the right with your limited colors, you're going to be able to kind of still have that ease of access. So it's going to give you a lot more options the more you mix and the more you kind of let those things intermingle and blend. Here I also did some more color studies with, I guess I'm calling them donuts. But this was with a 6 color palette. So I've got Quinacridone Magenta, Quin Sienna, Indian Yellow, Cascade Green, Phthalo Blue Red shade, and the Joseph Z's Cool Gray. And so I kind of have in the center the main color, and then I'll use each of these little colors as I mix it around in that circle. So it kind of shows you how you can push each of those colors with the others. Oh no, not that paper. You've seen these in other videos. Okay, and there's the one for the phthalo blue and the gray on the right. And then we've got our yellow and the Cascade Green. The Cascade Green, for some reason, did not turn out great, but I do mix those colors and love using it as a mixing color. And I really love that green on its own. Now, where that was the first sketchbook I was showing you, this is the smaller version of that. This is more like 3.5 by 5, I think. And it has 100% cotton paper. This one I'm using as a theme sketchbook and more like an art book if we're kind of giving a little difference to the names. And this one has a theme. I kind of started doing these little mushroom drawings and little dreamscapes and wonderland sort of things. And I kind of like having a place just for that. So, whenever I want to just sit down and flip pages through a little magical sketchbook, here it is. So this one's easy to throw in my bag, to grab and go, and also just kind of sit around the house and doodle in. So um, I'm going to continue with this theme. I love the colors in that one there. And then I've got this little cute, I've got the heron and a little mushroom person on a lily pad at the bottom. And then this is the last one that I did with the trillium. So especially as the flowers are popping up right now and I'm headed out on more flower hikes, I will be painting some more in there. So it's a great notebook. It is affordable. It's a good price point. The paper is really high quality, but when you get something like that, you are going to have a little bit of quality like lack on like this cover here. So those things don't bother me at all. I'm not bothered by that. I love what paper's inside of a book, and so I'm going to use it. I will sacrifice a good cover for really great paper. So, um, other people have different thoughts on that, and that's totally fine. But find something you love, something you want to work in. That's what I think. And sometimes it does need to be affordable so that you can just play and not think too much about how much money you've spent on a little book. So those are the first two books I wanted to share. And then the next one, I've got a stack here of two more that are similar. I've got a bigger version and a smaller version. Also, one of my favorite sketchbooks, and if you've seen any of my sketchbook review videos, you'll notice is not in this because I am trying to finish up these books first before I start another one, is the Hanamule 100% cotton watercolor sketchbook. And Yeah, I can't wait to get back into that one. But these Bao Hong, so that first one I really haven't done much in. These Bao Hong watercolor sketchbooks are just, I love them. These are also great, and I love that they're hot pressed, so I can use my ink in them and not have any skipping lines and not kind of gum up my pens and my fountain pens. But I've just been playing here. These are my colors. This was just this weekend as the color is shifting across the mountain as spring is coming in. And then I've got this dandelion from the yard, but I kind of simplified the shapes down, and I liked that exercise of just kind of simplifying it and working with color and movement more so than anything. And then I have been doing some more the ghost pipes here on the left with the bloom and the fruit, and then the trout lilies. I saw a ton of trout lilies this weekend that were so beautiful. So that's what I've been getting into with this sketchbook, and I can't wait to play some more. So, um, that is my sketchbook tour right now. I actually have a couple others I probably could have pulled out, but mostly, I mean, you've seen my color book. That's what I've been into at the beginning of this year is really getting my colors down pat. So, I've also been working on some larger paintings for the website, this waterfall, but I don't feel like I really achieved what I wanted with this one, so I'll keep working. Sometimes you just have to paint the same thing over and over again. And I think that's a good reminder to so many of us because, sometimes we're like, oh, I didn't get it right now. Don't be fooled. Some of us that are full-time artists, we try things over and over again. And that's how you learn, that's how you grow, that's how you keep pushing yourself. So, here's my new palette. I'm so excited. It has 15 wells, where the one on the right has 17. So, I am going to omit two of the colors. But the fun thing that using the palette on the right already, and my sketchbook has shown me which colors are less necessary than others. These wells here are a little bigger than the size of my fingernail. So, if you're curious about scale, I've already pulled out the paint here that I'm going to be using. And first up, we have Indian yellow. I really, really love this color. It's a mixture of two pigments. The main one I think is nickel azo yellow, so that means it's going to really explode in your mixes and push. And the other one is PY97. So, um, Perylene yellow. I'm reading the tube, sorry. Um, I've I love this yellow. I like how warm it is, but also neutral. It has almost like a cool tint to it. So it's sort of, I just, it's the perfect yellow for me. Next up, I have Mars yellow. And this is a color I use in my oil paintings and acrylic paintings. And I haven't used it in watercolor before, but I decided to kind of bring it over. It holds a similar place to your yellow ochre. It's PY42, which is, it's just a beautiful, beautiful pigment, a warm, earthy yellow. This one has a little bit of granulation. It's nice and transparent, unlike um, some yellow ochres. And just so you know, one of the things, I will fill these up kind of above the top. And as they dry, I'll kind of press them down. So they'll get a little bit of a crust on them, like after like 5 hours, and you can use your finger to kind of tap them down. So that way, if you get one of these palettes and are wanting to add color, that's how you do it. The next color is Quin Sienna. I'm putting it here kind of in the orange slot, just kind of where I like it. And the next one is going to be Pyrrol Red. That's 254 from Daniel Smith. I had a couple other colors that I was thinking of putting here, such as Pyrrol Scarlet. That is what I have in my other palettes. But I was kind of wanting something a little less on the orange side, especially since I have this quinacridone sienna now. And yeah, the Pyrrol Red just feels really nice. And then I go into my Quinacridone Magenta by Holbein. Now, if you're interested in this color, like from Daniel Smith, theirs is called quinacridone lilac, not to be confused with quinacridone magenta. So this version is PR 122. So sometimes you do have to double check dot cards and pigment numbers just to make sure, if you're switching brands that you're getting what you think you are. So this is that really beautiful, vibrant magenta. Next color is Goethite. This one is one of the few granulating pigments on this palette, but I don't know. I've become addicted to this color. I could probably I could probably do without, but I don't want to. So I'm not going to. And then somehow I have run out of Indian red. I've just ordered more paint and did not know I was out of this color, and that upsets me just a wee bit. So I will have to leave that until I order again. So the next color is Daniel Smith's Green Gold, another version of how they've named it Green Gold, where everybody else uses PY 129 as their Green Gold. This one is a mixture. Um, so this Green Gold is PY 150, uh, PY 3, and PG 36. It's a beautiful bright green. Even with the mixture of pigments in it, it still mixes really well. I've tested it out with all of my other colors, and I love the variety I can get with it. And then next I have Cascade Green, which is just a pretty color. There are some different ways to kind of mix and make a dupe of this, but nothing quite compares. And especially since I'm not using the Phthalo turquoise in this palette, having this kind of phthalo leaning green is going to be really useful, and it mixes really well. I love the way that it separates. It kind of creates a little bit of a moody green in my palette. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorites is Perylene green. What do I need to say about it? It's just so lovely and dark. This next color, I might accidentally get on a soapbox here, is from American Journey, and it is their Cobalt Teal. I I really hope that I don't know if you've heard the news that Cheap Joe's is closing its doors. They are my go-to art supply store, and I'm lucky enough that there are two that I can drive to out here. I'm even close to their main headquarters in Boone, and so that's like my art store home, and they make my favorite things. This is a Joe Miller paintbrush that's my favorite. Some of their paint colors, I use them in my classes. They're just staples in my life, and so it does break my heart that they are closing their doors. Um, and some of their paint colors you're going to see here, I have two of them in my palette that are just they're one of a kind. And so in the email that they sent out to the public, there was some talk about trying to see if someone else will carry on the brand. Um, so I hope so, just because I really, really love it. Even with their acrylic, like heavy body mediums, like they're just great. So, um, for your local art stores, please keep supporting them. Let's give them some love and help keep our art supply stores in business. So this teal is just beautiful. It's more blue than the green leaning version, like you see with Daniel Smith. I chose it specifically because of just the tone that it has and the way that it granulates. It's not as granulating as other versions. This next color is the phthalo blue red shade. I love the warmth of this color, but still with the strength of a phthalo. It kind of acts as a non-granulating ultramarine, in my opinion. It's not exact, but you know what I'm saying. My next color here is Bloodstone. I don't have a ton. Nope. I take it back. It's Joseph C's Cool Gray. This has been an unexpected color for me. I just felt like changing it up, and I think I saw it on someone else's YouTube channel and got my dot cards and was playing around with it. And I was like, yeah, that's a fun, really interesting alternative to indigo or Payne's gray. And yeah, I'm excited about the little switch up of that one. I'll swatch it in a minute so you can see. And then I've got Bloodstone. It's a genuine pigment by Daniel Smith, and it's super granulating. It's going to add so much to this palette. I'm excited about how I can take this fairly ungranulating palette, and just by mixing Bloodstone in, I get these really incredible granulating colors and kind of neutralizing the pigments out. And I'll show you a little bit more of that there. But I did all of these little tests with the Bloodstone just to see that mixing that in with each of these colors alone creates a pretty interesting collection of colors. So, and last but not least, oh, this color has become one of my favorites. It is Pat's Coastal Blue from American Journey, Cheap Joe's. It is PBR7 and PB36 with a light fast of excellent. And it doesn't say it has white in it. It just is a really kind of incredible color. I don't quite get it. It's just so pretty. I use it as a instead of having like a buff titanium now, because I can mix this with goethite and get a really nice warm type of buff titanium. And yeah, let's swatch these out and see what we get. And last but not least, I'm going to show you this Bloodstone mix here with the Cascade Green. And it makes this really beautiful, easy forest, deep brownish green. So just a little swatch so you can see some of the different variations you can get. And then this is Pat's Coastal Blue, my newest favorite color. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a little bit long, but I hope it was insightful and maybe inspired you to play with your colors. And thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. Thank you for your support. Thank you for looking at my website and giving me a follow here. And for those of you that have joined my Patreon, y'all mean the world to me. And I look forward to more videos to come soon. I've got a really fun couple of videos coming up next. One with my travel sketchbook kit, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I work on my desk as well. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.